Hey, it's Tom from Tom's Toons. This is the large helm in gray from PontoonStuff.com, and this is going to be a quick guide to getting this set up and on your boat. Your console is going to ship in two boxes, the top half and the bottom half. This is it assembled before I put hardware in it, and we have a video on our YouTube channel of the entire process, start to finish, installation wise. This is going to be the quicker version, so if you need to see it in detail, go click over to our channel, Tom's Toons, and view it there. But once I've got this up on the boat and I know where it's going to go, the first thing I do after I've installed the base down to the floor is I take this top half right back off. So let's do that. I put the base back up on the boat where it's gonna go, and now I can work with just the top half. But I find it's way easier to work on a table surface like this where I can work on the top half, make a mess in one place rather than cutting everything out up on the boat. So that's what I'm going to do right now. What I need to do is I need to cut out my steering bracket for the helm to fit here. I'm going to need to cut out my control box. This takes a binnacle mount or a topside mount control for shift and throttle. The key switch typically goes next to that. I've got a switch panel that's going to go here. I've got a gauge panel that's going to go here. My stereo up here, and a glove box right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace everything on first. I use a fine tip Sharpie, but I'm going to trace that out with all the templates, the stencils, and then I can get to cutting it. The stencils that I use mostly are things that come with the products from PontoonStuff. This is for the switch panel up top. I've got a gauge panel, so my gauges will drop into this, and the blank will cover the outside of the cutout. This I made for my steering mechanism. You're probably using a rotary style helm. You could trace the little brass piece that looks kind of like this that drops in. That goes right in the center here. I've made myself a glove box stencil, so we use this so much. And if you saw in the sped up version, I measure 2 inches down in 2 spots and then 2 inches over in 2 spots to give myself somewhere to square everything up so it's nice and level. But this is 12 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So that's something you could make at home out of one of the boxes you get from your furniture. I've got my stereo housing. So this is the Deckmate Bluetooth stereo housing. So it's the styrofoam it comes in. I use the smaller circle there to trace my cut for the stereo to drop into. And then this is it's a Mercury. You might have a Yamaha, Honda, who knows, Suzuki or a Mercury. Binnacle control. This is the housing that I can trace my cutout for the binnacle to drop through. You can use Tom's Toons at checkout at PontoonStuff.com to save 5% on this console, along with your entire purchase of pontoon furniture, flooring, plywood, you name it, all the accessories you need. You can shop at one place, PontoonStuff.com, and use Tom's Toons at checkout to save a little bit of cash. With everything traced on, I'm ready to cut. This is a Dremel. This is a plug-in style. Got to go to plug-in. You'll rip through battery if you don't. But the big thing on this is the cutting bit. So this is a multi-surface cutting bit. It's going to drill in, and then I'm going to be able to cut in both directions through this rotomolded plastic. You can pick up this bit at a local hardware store. Home Depot, big box stores have them. Before I start cutting, I'm going to go ahead and clamp a board behind, because as I put pressure on this and the vibration, it's going to want to move. So that's just a little tip. Put clamps or a board behind it, or have somebody hold the back of it so that it can't slide on you. a couple tips when you are cutting with this Dremel tool is, number one, use two hands. If I use one hand to steady it, the other to hold it firm, I can guide it, because I promise if you're not used to using these, I know when I first started cutting with this in the plastic, it would grab sometimes and it'll try to pull you outside of your cut. So work slow. I run it at full speed, but I work slow and I always keep two hands on it. The other thing is, I almost always am gonna cut on or just inside of the line that I drew. Reason being, we can always cut more away. I can never add any plastic back. So keep that in mind when you're making those cuts. We're ready to mock this up, make sure everything fits, and then it can go up on the boat. I've got a few of the items that are ready to go in and everything fit up, so I can screw those in when the time comes. I'll add my steering and my shift throttle box too. But this is how I go about getting this console ready to go, because it does make a mess. There's a lot of plastic around. I can do it off the boat. I can take my time, have a nice stable surface to work on, be comfortable, and get everything done how I want to, so it looks as good as possible. Again, this is the large helm from PontoonStuff.com and some of the accessories that go with it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.